The quality of the service is only half of the story. And in many, many cases, question of like how you can do this in a way that actually satisfies their goal. But the main question is like why they do what they do, what they actually doing there, and why they building this startup, what their motivation is, what they actually struggling today with. Sometimes it is a technical issue and we can help with this, but sometimes it's a product issue and we can dive there. Or sometimes it's like, hey, I have a meeting with investors and I need to prepare and I need a second opinion on my deck or something like this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fully Managed Podcast, the podcast where we discuss marketing and business tips to help assist you on your business journey. I'm your host, Shannon, Penji's partnership coordinator. I'm joined here today with a very special guest, Vadim Peskov from Diffco. I knew I was going to do it.
Hello, everyone. So one to be in here.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming on. I practiced your name before you came on the call, and I still messed it up.
It's fine. It's many people do. So sometimes I'm thinking to change it.
Well, that makes me feel even worse. Many people. I wanted to be the one that didn't. You know?
No, you did an amazing job there. So that's fine.
Would you please tell the audience and me, and anyone, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you kind of worked yourself up to this point, and what inspired you to create this business and everything in between?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of quick intro about me. So I started this business 16 years ago. Previously, it was focused on mostly development, like a web application in 2008. 2008 is like a long time ago. It seems like it's forever away, to be honest. It's everything before 2020 is actually forever away right now. So we went through a journey like building a lot of custom products, worked with a lot of large customers, and as well as with a lot of wonderful startups. And now we're focusing on developing really complex, large projects, plus doing a lot of work in relates to AI, obviously. Was doing this for the last 7 years. Starting with computer vision and now like slowly moving to other things. And definitely again, the last couple of years, it's really, really active. And as well, yeah, so we do a lot of staffing and do a lot of work on this side. Plus, I do advisory for a lot of startups. And mostly, again, helping them with the product side, also AI and cybersecurity parts. So this is, again, quick intro. Let's jump.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for the quick intro. You could have went more. I feel like there was more. Well, what inspired you to create the business? You didn't answer that question. What was it? Was it a dream that you had since you were a little boy?
It's a good start. Also, I think the main reason actually was because we was young and stupid, and we said like, hey, it's a 2008, it's a financial crisis, and we like, hey, let's do something. Let's start a good thing. That's like business is probably a great idea to do in 2008. I mean, to be honest, I think it's ended up being great. But in 2008, we was like. Doing a completely different playbook back then. And this was a really exciting time. The first year was not really efficient, I would call it. But after this, we started growing, and it was a really interesting approach. So I'd loved how it went.
I can't think that you could consider it stupid if it worked. I feel like you can only consider it stupid if it didn't work. Maybe, I don't know.
It's definitely painful. So this is what I did say, yes.
And then during the 2008 financial crisis, kind of insane to be like, this is a good time to start.
I think
crisis put money down
is the perfect time to start things. I think last year a lot of startups started, and because of the market, I think they will be much more resilient versus 2021. Because I think a lot of startups from 2021 will die already, died, and the folks that are doing this in last year and this year, I think they will be much more resilient.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. I wouldn't know much about that, but I would hope. I just think that it's interesting to start something in a time of crisis, especially a money crisis, which involves putting money down on a business that you yourself said may have been a stupid decision, but it looks like it wasn't. So that's really great. It's just a kind of brave, to give you credit where it's due.
Yeah, when you have no experience, you just trying things and you don't know this is a bad idea. So this is why it's typically working.
Yeah, of course. I've also noticed that you started a podcast. How's that going? I'm always curious about other people's podcasts. No,
Yeah, it's so no, I just again, I typically participate in others folks again, not specifically doing my own things really actively yet, but I think it's a way to communicate in modern society. I think people prefer this format. It's much more simple. Listen on the go, etc., versus like trying to read a long blog, etc. I'm old enough to remember people writing long blogs, etc., and now it's less popular. But again, I think reading is a great format, but still, it's much simpler to consume information this way, and especially again, everyone just doing a podcast or short videos or whatever, and this is just a way how people now consume information. I wish they would be reading a long blog post, etc., but I don't think it will be really the reality of today's.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't read blog posts nearly as often as I listen or consume content, but I would say that, which is very ironic, I suppose, as I do all these podcasts, don't listen to podcasts ever. I'm not someone that has the attention span to listen to something. I need to be stimulated also by video, and so this is helpful because it's helpful when I can see people, but also if they're just talking at a screen, that's also not enough stimulation for me as well.
Soon AI will just generate the podcast for you, so and it will be videos and it will be the pictures that you prefer to see versus
Thanks.
other things.
Oh, yeah.
This will help.
Yeah, no, the editing team definitely makes it look a little snazzier. They're very helpful with they have they add a lot of photos. They add a lot of different things that stimulate the brain. So our podcast is the best. All I gotta say. So shameless promo. Everyone loves our podcast, but yeah, personally, it's very funny that I do this and I enjoy doing it, but I do not listen to podcasts myself, which is very interesting. So you said that you were getting involved with AI a lot more recently, and I know that that is something that a lot of different agencies and businesses are getting involved in because it's a really helpful tool. Could you kind of talk about what you think the biggest benefit of AI is, and then maybe the biggest struggle with it?
I think this is a good one. Couple things to note. I think so. Again, when we started working with AI like 7 years ago, then it was a completely different playbook. So we had a really funky ways of doing things, and again, it was really slow and really expensive to run those models and doing things, especially on the computer vision front. And again, time goes by, and we see much more powerful devices, we see more things, etc. And for example, we had one project that took like 1 minute to process some information on the phone. Now it's taking half a second. And again, it's going faster and faster. And when we dive into like AIs right now, especially like on the LLM side and the general machine learning side, obviously as well, I think that a lot of things that happening today will be completely different tomorrow. And again, now it's a small number of people that are really kind of implementing those things and trying to make best of AI, etc. Most folks just like, hey, we're using ChatGPT to write the marketing stuff or whatever. And this is good, but again, you can do more. And I think where we'll have this transformation is actually when we'll move from just a chat interface, we'll move to agents that will perform certain type of actions on your behalf. I think this is where it become really exciting. And some a couple of interesting startups there that like can execute based on your actions and really kind of be your digital twin, so to say. And when we can hire actual digital employees, I think this is where it will become really, really digital. Because right now, I know that I can put AI in charge of, for example, as a hostess in a restaurant, like booking staff, etc. And I know AI will do the better job than a human, most of the humans, and it will work 24/7. And I will pay for this basically almost nothing compared to human. And it will again will advance, etc. So I think this is the the benefits there, and a lot of I think white collar jobs will be threatened by AI, and especially I think on in engineering side as well, because again we can do more and things with AI than ever before. Um, the challenges I think here is I would put it in two separate realms. One I call the regulations, and another I would call the belief that everything should be perfect from day one. And in terms of regulation, I think it's really simple. People trying to kind of like say it's a dangerous, etc., and like pursue the idea that it could destroy the world. Sorry, it can't write the text correctly yet. In 100% of the cases, it definitely can destroy the world, at least yet. So it's like let's wait for this. Yeah. Also, I think so regulations is kind of is a good idea, but it also again slowing down the industry. And it's many countries that will not enforce any regulations on AI and will push their own agenda, and they will push more and more stuff, and they will basically will grow much faster if, for example, we here in the United States will have the regulations really pushing for like, hey, let's slow down, let's have some kind of compliance, etc. There, we will lose this game. The second is I would call it the businesses that prefer to believe that AI can achieve 100% accuracy on certain things. And the truth is, it cannot. It's certain type of things that it can do close to 100%, and it's certain approaches how you can achieve 100%. But you cannot do this for everything. And this is importantly to understand. Not even humans will have 100% accuracy on everything. But when people believe, like, hey, it's supposed to have 99.99%, but it's actually having 97%, they like, it doesn't really work this way. And I think this is, again, also like slowing down the point. And again, I don't think it in a place where it can replace a lot of things that humans do today, but it definitely will in the next few years. And I think I may be again doing a really small predictions here, but I think it will be even faster in some cases.
No, I definitely agree that AI is moving at a rapid pace. I think that people who are worried about it replacing their jobs, I think for a lot of jobs, that's very possible. Especially like SEO is kind of being replaced, I think, as we speak. That someone that I feel like a lot of people thought would never happen or would happen way further in the future. Do you think that there's any kind of moral dilemma with that? Or do you think that this is something that, is inevitable with like technology advancing? I guess it's kind of philosophical, not really.
Yeah, I love it. So, first of all, I don't. So, I think, again, AI is just another tool that can help you to do things better. Before Excel, for example, people used to do things manually. And now with Excel, people can do basically anything,
Mhm.
almost. And it's unlimited options what you can do there. And I think it's not the replacement of the job; it's an enhancement of what humans do, because you can move people to do different jobs. There's obviously will be companies, and I know many companies like this that put in AI first, and they think like, "Hey, we don't need 100 people to do the same job. We will have 10."
Mhm.
Sure, but the point is, if we like do not take advantage of AI, if we do not take advantage of the tool, like, hey, we can go and do the manual agriculture, for example. But if we do this, just to be clear, yes, we can do all organic stuff, etc., the whole planet. We'll have like 2/3 of the planet actually working for agriculture specifically.
Mhm.
We probably don't want to go this direction in 2024. So let's just use the tool and let's repurpose the skill sets of the folks to do things differently. So I don't think it's a question of replacement. I think this is a question on enhancement and allowing different people to achieve more with the same again amount of effort or amount of time that they spend. So I think this again will help them grow and will not destroy the jobs itself. Again, it will evolve the job. Again, before Excel, again, people was doing the manual job. Again, now they're doing the different things, and I think this totally makes sense.
Yeah, you can just kind of move people around based off of like if it is something that is, again, replacement is relative, I suppose, depending on what it is. But yeah, it does. I agree in the enhancement is that I was actually very afraid to use ChatGPT for a really long time. Because I have this fear that it's not a conspiracy theory kind of fear, um, but more of a I'm afraid that I'm not exercising my brain enough when I rely on a tool, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I'm in an argument with someone about debating over whether something is true or not, I never want to Google it. Like I want to solve the problem through us debating it and figure it out that way. And if we're wrong, we can look it up when we're done. But I like that because I think that it exercises your brain. I'm afraid of getting dementia early or something like that. I don't know. But
You will not get.
yeah,
At least for now. Like, come on, wait for Optimus from Tesla, and it will bite.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of that happening. But so I was afraid to ever use ChatGPT because I was like, oh, if I'm so reliant on this, I keep using it to ask questions or whatever, do things for me. I'm not going to be exercising, my synopsis. But it is really good for grunt work. I just started using it recently. For the podcast specifically because I make little descriptions after the podcast like people do. And I create 3 points from the podcast, and I used to go through every podcast, watch all of it painstakingly again, and find 3 points in there, make little paragraphs out of them, and write them down, and then put them through. And my boss said, "Why are you doing that? You can just ask ChatGPT to do that. You can put it in transcript, upload that, and then have them do that, and it takes like 2 seconds." And he was right. It does take 2 seconds. And it's not worth my time to do that because they can do probably a better job than I can with it. And that's good. I want to think that that's negative, but it's not because it's not replacing anyone. It's just making my job easier for me. I think I'd want to die if I had to go through 6 podcasts I did in a day and then have to describe all of them. Because sometimes, when it's so many in one time, I don't remember which happened in which or what happened in what, and I'm just a human, and there's so much memory in there. But AI is infinite, and they can do whatever you need within some constraints. And that's helpful.
For now. No.
For now. And then so there'll be fully fledged humans that replace people entirely, and then they become an evil house.
Nah, I think it's the point that I just want to make. Again, this is just a tool. Again, people like trying to again, it's like when the first car was invented, people was like, come on, no one would buy this. Everyone likes to use horses. When the first personal computer was invented, it's like, hey, no one need this. Only large corporation will buy this. Again, the same story applies. Like, people just afraid of change, and this is again totally normal. But I think we will have basically 2 categories of people. One that using AI and progressing and doing things faster, and another that get fired, that do not use AI. And I think this is the reality. And again, many companies will die because they cannot enhance and advance so quickly. I think a lot of companies will be replaced because of this. And again, if we look, for example, right now into landscape, for example, let's take the Nasdaq, for example, yeah, or even S&P 500, etc. A lot of these companies that have a primary capitalization of those indexes is actually recent companies that built in the last 20, 30 years. If we will look backdated like 100, 150 years ago, etc., many of those companies would be generational companies that was doing this for many, many hundreds of years and was doing this building, etc. Again, depending on country, etc. But the same story applies. Many of them will be old companies. And today we have companies that just 10 years ago or maybe less when they started. And again, now they worth 100 million, etc. Again, totally normal nowadays, but absolutely crazy and impossible even like 50 years ago.
Yeah, I think that people are definitely afraid of advancement and then change, as you said. I think that's very important. I am definitely someone that is a little bit afraid of change. I think anything that involves using my brain less makes me scared. But I think that, if anything can make something easier for you that isn't worth doing, or taking time out of your day to do, but is important to be done, um, I think that it's something that is it's incredible. I'm sure that someone gave me an analogy the other day of, I'm sure it was weird for contractors to start using drills instead of screwdrivers. Or and a lot of people didn't want to do that, and that's so simple. But I'm sure that that was the thing. And using computers or email when it came out is people are resistant to change, but it's something that's really useful, and it's a great idea. And I'm sure that my parents were like, maybe I shouldn't use the email when it came out, but it was definitely something that we're able to communicate with people better. And now there's texting, and my grandma still doesn't know how to text, but I think she's okay. But some people don't have to adapt to change because they're in the generation that doesn't need to. But yeah, so we'll move on topic. We've been on AI for a very long time. So, what are some steps that your company takes to ensure customer satisfaction that is outside of general good quality work? 'Cause I know everyone will be like, okay, I make great work for them and they'll be happy because I make great work. But I think that there's really a very crucial part of just the process of doing that work. And I think everyone kind of has a unique way of communicating and making sure that their customers are happy at the end result.
I think it's really kind of simple because you just want to have a clear communication with the clients by the end of the day and really understand what they want. Because the quality of the service is only half of the story. And in many, many cases, it is a question of like how you can do this in a way that actually satisfies their goal. Not like, hey, you actually doing the right service, and again, it's doing absolutely great quality. And again, everyone happy on like quality side, but the main question is like why they doing what they doing, why they again. So let's say some startup founder, what they actually doing there, and why they building this startup, what their motivation is, what they actually struggling today with. Because sometimes it is a technical issue, and we can help with this. But sometimes it's a product issue, and we can dive there. Or sometimes it's like, hey, I have a meeting with investors, and I need to prepare, and I need a second opinion on my deck, or something like this. It could be really simple, and could be really complex. But at the same time, again, having this communication open and having this feedback from those folks, I think this is what actually drives the better understanding. So again, I think it's going beyond what your services listed and what you provide. I think is really important to really understand on a human level what does people need, because sometimes again they will not put this in description. Sometimes they will not ask for this, and many people really struggling to ask things in a way that they actually need those things to be completed. But if you ask the right questions, if you understand what their requirement is, I think this is where you can get the most happiness on a process. But again, also you can, in the same way, you can advance everything that in regards pushing things in the right direction for the quality of the work.
Do you ever struggle with transparency with clients in this way? Like, say they're not giving you the full story, and so you feel like you're not helping them efficiently. How do you, if that does happen, how do you navigate that situation? Like, how do you get them to kind of be more transparent or tell you more of the whole story so that you can kind of assist them in a better way?
I think we can help in limited ways, for sure. Again, we cannot dive into people's brains yet in a way that we sometimes want. Again, let's wait for Neuralink doing their own stuff, and maybe then. But again, right now, I think this is mostly the question of like, hey, how we can actually have this clear communication set up in the right way from very beginning, and how we can actually ensure that this is done correctly. How we can play this in a way that's actually working in the right direction. I think this is the key component that I'm trying to kind of like pursue first of all. And yeah, so again, if we don't have a clear understanding of what the client's needs, okay, it's fine. This could happen. And again, we just need to clearly communicate this to them and to the team as well. Because again, when we started the business, we was like, hey, the goal of the client is like to launch whatever project. It's actually like, and we quickly understand the goal of the client is not to launch the project. The goal of the client is actually completely different. Do something beyond this. This is our goal to launch the project, and their goal is to really maybe again get funding, maybe again get 100 customers, maybe something else. This is again where I think this understanding is much more critical.
Yeah, and an overarching goal rather than, a short-term goal that maybe is not crucial, is just kind of what they think will feed into the long-term goal that they didn't explain.
What is actually driving you? So just to simplify this, and again, this is something that you can do by just talking to the people and have a normal human connection. Not like, hey, I'm a robot and I can understand everything. Because like, it's just simple human connection.
That's what AI can't replace.
Yet.
Yet, they're getting more and more human every day. I'm sure in a lab somewhere.
I know a lot of humans that will probably be better using AI to communicate, for sure.
Yeah, there are some cranky humans, and AI can't get cranky. I mean, not yet. Not yet. That's the fear. Is that they can get cranky. So, it's game time. This is the fun part. This is the fun part. Okay. So, I'll ask you an absurd question first. This is a warning. Just to get you off your game. You're too comfortable. We gotta ask you something crazy. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think of which one. Wait. Would you rather get $1 every time you complimented a person, or $100 every time you insulted someone?
I love this question. I have some temptations for sure. Like, if this is a guaranteed deal, I will take the first one. $1 every time I do a compliment, and I will just do more compliments.
Compliments. Okay, it's incentive.
Like, I will do a couple of millions of them, so it's not fun. I will take.
Yeah. As someone that is just normally complimenting people, I think that it'll be a good. I don't think I could insult someone, and the incentive is money. I think I'd feel worse if I got $100. If I got rewarded every time I insulted someone, I think I'd feel awful.
No, for the purpose of podcast, I think it's actually will be fun to do the second one, but yeah.
I'm just gonna have that as the reel when we post it. Like Vadim is horrible. He loves insulting people, and that's the tagline. And we're gonna do the click.
Please allow me to sign first this deal, so we can have this in
To a
writing.
contract. Okay, bad press or no press at all? What's worse?
Depends. I think if you play right, the bad press is actually could be much better. And if you can if you don't know how to work with the press, basically, again, I would probably go with that press is the best listener. Again, I know some folks that can manage the press, but again, in the cases of no press, you can do things in the right way if you want to. But again, to be absolutely clear, in 2024, like who even like reading the news? Like, so sorry, it's like maybe someone is.
Also want to profit anyway. No, I can't read.
I don't know if I should. Like the point is, like, every time I'm opening the news app, it's like something terrible happens in the world. It's like I don't want to.
I would rather not do. I would rather not think about it. I'm sure a lot of people would. So, yeah, I agree. The news is negative most of the time. That's good news.
Yeah, because again, the incentive of the main media is actually changed, and I think this is where we have the fundamental problem with here in the United States, that the incentive is to get more clicks versus actually deliver the truth there. Because again, we started doing opinions when it's supposed to be facts. Again, it's not the way how the media should work. And I hope it will change someday again.
Me too. Hopefully not because of some very terrifying event. But you never know.
Typically, it's going bad, and after it's starting growing to much more nicer things. But yeah, it's the reality of our society.
Yeah. You just you ever read any history? It's kind of there's projections, but well, we're gonna look on the bright side of things. Okay, how many eggs do you think you can eat in a day? You can eat them any style. You just have to eat them.
That's a good question. I think I probably can do like 30.
Okay, 30. That's on the higher end. I've had someone say 8 dozen, which I think is insane. I don't think anyone could eat 96 eggs in a day and they die. I think they
No, they will not.
actually die.
They actually did the experiments. It's fine. You can do it.
One kind of strange that that they've done experiments for how many eggs that you think you can eat. How do you...
Internet is crazy, so sorry. Yeah, it's people done much more crazier things than just eating eggs. But yeah, no, I was like, I definitely can eat the dozen for sure. It's not a problem. Yeah.
Well, a dozen is easy. I feel like I could eat a dozen eggs. I'm a very small person, but I feel like not 30 though. I don't think I could eat 30.
Great.
All right, last one. Would you rather work for Google or Microsoft?
I think in my case, definitely Google. Just the mindset and approaches of things is different. But to be honest, I don't know that maybe the right answer right now is neither of them. Because how the things is kind of like moving right now. And I think it's also will depend on the team. Because I know amazing team in both companies. And really, I know a lot of things that I would definitely not want to work myself there. So I think it depends on the people that you're actually working with, not specifically a company, because again, the company is so large, you can like find the different teams, etc.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that you could have a horrible team in a great company. You could have a really great team in a horrible company, and as long as like a lot of other things don't affect you, that's okay. I mean, maybe people don't feel good working for a horrible company, but as long as your day-to-day is going well and you just don't tell people where you work. LinkedIn though exposes people nowadays, so this I don't know. Depends on your outlook on a company. If if you work for Lockheed Martin or something like sure.
Somebody will tell that it's actually a great company. Someone will tell it's a terrible company.
Exactly. So it's all opinion based anyway. You just gotta find your your right group, or maybe just don't disclose your job ever and just pretend that you work for the
Take your own
government.
poison.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just pretend that you're a CIA operative and that you can't tell anyone about your job.
They
And
just put a State Department. Yeah, it's working fine.
I'm just average Joe working for the government. No one needs to know what my job is. All right, so this is unfortunately all the time we have today. We're a little over time already, but I couldn't stop at the egg question. I feel like that was a weird note to end on. But thank you so much for coming on with me today. Yeah, no, I like to keep the absurd questions. I think it makes the podcast interesting, and I'm sure one day I can make a compilation of egg clips. See, that are warring against each other and see who has the highest egg count. That'll be fun. But for now, there's only so many people that have answered the egg question. But thank you again so much for coming on with me today. This is absolutely lovely. I laughed a lot, which is the best part. And I learned a lot. So, those are my 2 favorite things to do on the podcast. So thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting. It's amazing talking with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And everyone that's watching or listening, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more fun conversations like this. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.